Hello and welcome to Madoka Magicast, a podcast devoted to the dark magical girl anime Puella Magi Madoka Magica, or Maggie, or Magi, or Magi, or however you want to pronounce Magi. I'm your host Amanda, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Yasha and Vana, the owners of the biggest revolutionary girl Utena website, MP Movement. Hi Yasha and Vana.
Hi!
I'm joining them as they watch Madoka Magica for the first time ever, and we're going to talk about what we love and sometimes don't love about the show as we go through it. And today we are watching episode 6, which is titled, This Just Can't Be Right.
These titles are subtle. I like them.
I know.
They're just...
This is a very information-dense episode.
Yes, a lot happens.
Really enjoyed it.
A lot happens in this episode. And it's another one of those episodes where, like, I have a lot to say, but it's spoilers, so I can't say
yeah.
it. Yeah. Oh, well. This is one of those...
Yeah,
So we...
You're going to be hearing from me a lot this episode.
That's completely fine. I look forward to it. But you guys already know that the sequel to the anime is the Rebellion movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that Rebellion is a little bit polarizing.
Yeah.
Okay. This episode, when I was watching this episode to record this podcast, I was like, wow, Rebellion is fucking awful. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that is going to come up later when I'm ranting about how bad that movie is. But anyway.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know anything about Rebellion, except that I took a very cursory glance at, like, Madoka merch.
Yeah, we were looking through the Madoka merch last night.
Ooh.
And Rebellion had all of the cute Kyubey shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There was a Kyubey Kigurumi
that
Aww.
I can't own because
it was limited edition, 2012 only.
I bet you could find it on eBay or something.
I've looked already.
Maybe not then.
Oh, but hey, this is kind of an addendum to something we discussed in episode 5. I actually looked at the rings they had for sale.
Oh yes, because they made
They made rings for all
the
of
pre-orders
the girls.
closed, which is sad because they were beautiful.
They are beautiful. But what I noticed is that, yes, each girl does have witch script on her ring, and those are their names. I managed to figure it out by looking at Kyoko's, because Kyoko's has 2 K's and 2 O's in it.
Yeah.
And
But
they're all...
Yep.
They're all in the right places, and they're all the right length, so it's the girls' names on the rings.
In the witch script.
In witch script.
Interesting. I wonder if that comes up later.
I wonder.
This does not discourage us from nosediving into our current headcanons. So
Yeah, it's almost like I was telling you to not look up what the symbols meant from the beginning.
You know what?
But, okay.
I didn't look up what the symbols meant, though.
She didn't look up what the symbols meant, though. This is nothing that we wouldn't have ascertained from watching the videos, except that we didn't feel like going and hunting down, like, the close-up shot of mommies again.
Okay, well,
Yep.
I do want to say that when I said don't look up the symbols, it also meant don't code crack the symbols either. Okay, guys?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're trying so hard.
I know. We just need to get through this, because then we can, once we're past all the big stuff, we can finally just be open about everything.
Yes.
Alright. So, one thing is, there was a Curious Cat question that we left until the beginning of this episode, from last episode. I have the Curious Cat open here, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. Maybe it was this one about, this one here. Here, I will paste it into the chat for you guys, so that
that's
you
the one
have the full text and easy place to read it.
Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, so the question was, I think this was from Anonymous.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, there was a little bit of a lead-in, and their question was, I'm planning on running a magical girl campaign in World of Darkness, and I want to know what kind of themes, tropes, and formulas you would consider indispensable to the magical girl genre, and for building a story as suspenseful yet episodic as Utena. I mean, if you want to build a story as suspenseful and episodic as Utena, like, good luck with that.
Start with K.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I don't think I could ever write something as good as Utena, as much as I'd like to imagine myself doing that.
I am not going to pretend that I think I could reach that
Neither.
level, even though
Color
writing
coding
is kind of my thing.
Yeah.
but,
color coding,
but
which is going to come up again in this episode when I go on my big
well,
rant
yeah, color coding is one of the kind of tropes
of
that
Magical Girl.
is
and-
used in both of these. Honestly, the biggest thing, if you're going to have a campaign that's as meaningful as Utena, you need good characters. You need good NPCs.
You need to pick a theme, and you need to go as far with that theme
Yes.
as you can take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Figure out what your central conflict is and build it around that.
Yeah.
And then just seed everything with references to it and situations that involve it and all of that kind of thing, because that's what these shows both do that makes them so great.
I'm about to say something that'll make them not want to do it.
Uh-oh.
If you're doing a Magical Girl campaign and you're asking for how to build a story, etc., you are Akio. Yep, Akio is literally just running a fucking campaign, and he's just one of those DMs that has to have everything go his way.
That's a little much.
Just pretend you're Akio. What would
okay,
Akio
alright,
do?
okay.
And the answer is not. I mean,
shouldn't
be fuck all of the game players, but kind of
okay,
it is. Kind of
removing that though, she's not wrong. Like,
How would
Akio
you
is
put
the
together
one
your narrative?
dictating the story in Utena.
He's like the
And-
director proxy, and a
and
DM is a director proxy.
Kyubey is doing that to a certain degree in Madoka.
Yeah.
Just
So
very ham-handedly.
it's not wrong.
I know.
It just has a lot
I'm
of
also just being a
associations.
dick, but it's not entirely wrong. There is
Yeah.
an idea there.
Yeah. At least for the
as
magical girl genre side of things, you know, some of the things that crop up pretty frequently in magical girl shows are adolescence and identity, having a double life,
I feel like
using
what the-
love and friendship to win instead of real violence.
And what the value of purity is.
Yeah,
and what
Yeah.
defines that.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
fate is another topic that comes up
Mm.
pretty frequently, and defying fate or being able to break out of a stereotype or break out of a mold is something that seems to come up pretty frequently in magical girl shows, which makes sense because they're for preteen and teenage girls, so that's kind of, you know, a relevant show for relevant themes for young adults. So, you know, I would maybe consider building it around some of those kind of ideas. If you really want it to feel like a magical girl show, that's some of the elements I think would be required.
What would you do if you were trying to make a magical college student show?
oh my god.
Or a magical, you know, registered nurse show? No, I mean, like, how do you grow the genre into older? Because so much of the genre depends on being young and coming of age. What happens to them later? What do you do with that whole set of tropes?
Those
but
are
like
Magical girls with drinking problems.
That's
I
basically
mean,
just a
but-
superhero genre at that point.
You know, that's fair.
Yeah,
You're right.
it really is.
Fine.
A really pretty superhero genre.
Yeah, it would
though.
be a very pretty one though.
Yeah.
However, I just want to addendum this a little bit. Anon, I know exactly which thing you're using to do this World of Darkness campaign, and I am trying to convince these others to get in with me and record a session where we run a campaign like that for just, you know, a one shot for an hour. But we'll see. We'll see what they say.
We were also playing with the idea of making it a Patreon only thing. I don't know. We still haven't done much with the Patreon yet. I still would like to maybe do merchandise or like wait until after we finish the entire series to launch the Patreon. I don't know. I'm not used to like asking money from people. So there's something about that I feel not quite comfortable yet doing. So I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's kind of challenging to do that.
But, you know,
Well-
it would certainly help support the show if people wanted to do that, because it does cost us money to do it in time. So.
But that's a discussion that we can have off the show.
Yes, we do not need to get into that now.
So, you got as far as the title on episode 6 before we launched
I know,
off in
I'm
different
sorry.
directions.
You know what? The further we get, the worse this gets, because the more it's like, you're getting more and more stuff that we want to like talk about outside of the episode, and it's getting it's getting unholy.
Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and start? This episode, This Just Isn't Right. Yet another cursed episode title. Originally aired February 10th, 2011. Written again by Gen Urobuchi. Storyboarded by Shinsaku Sasaki. Directed by Fujiaki Asari. And the animation was done by Junichi Fukunaga and Hitoshi Miyashima. So, I don't know. I feel like these are all new names every time I read these off.
Yeah, this time it's new names. So by
Shinsaku
theory,
Sasaki, I recognize.
Yes, I feel like he's come up before.
We should actually, look at that at some point.
We should. Also, before we begin, I did mean to mention that I am still moving into my new house with my husband, and I'm currently recording in our living room, which is like a big room with nothing on the walls and like tiled floors. So if that's why I'm a little bit echoey, that's why, and I apologize, and it will eventually go away, but this is kind of where we are right now, so sorry about that. Anyway.
This is the most millennial shit ever. I'm sorry I bought a house.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry.
Let me just say, the only reason we have a house is that Adam's dad gave us a bunch of money for the down payment. So
that is even more millennial.
I know, it really is. Houses are unaffordable, and don't feel bad if you don't have a house. Anyway.
Alan. Okay.
So we start off with this cold open, and we basically...
It's kind of review.
Yeah, we're basically getting right back into where we left off last episode with the Kyoko and Sayaka fight. And, where Homura shows up, teleports in. The positions of the girls seem to have changed when she did that, and
hair flip.
Yeah, Homura does her hair flip, and Kyoko's like, "What the heck are you doing?" And she just keeps teleporting around to mess with her. And
that's my girl.
Yeah, yeah. She even smacks Sayaka to just seal the deal on breaking up this fight. Like, stop it! Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
She does that
second.
neck chop thing.
Yeah, she does the neck chop thing,
which is something a human could theoretically do. Like, she doesn't use any power to shut her down.
Yeah.
No, but I just want to mention that that's something. If somebody is immediately unconscious from a hit or something, that's brain damage territory.
Oh god. Well, that's one of those fiction tropes. That's just like
I know. It's just like.
Yeah, no, because you always see them going...
Sayaka's fixation.
You usually go smacking them in, the back of the neck, and that's the trope, and it's like, yeah, no, that's a spinal cord injury, not unconsciousness. But sure, whatever. You just kind of roll with it, but don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah, really.
And by kids, I mean, 30-year-old men that were watching this.
Well, I mean, I doubt they are neck chopping their friends.
Yes, that would imply they had friends.
You're such a bitch.
They have fellow 30-year-old neckbeard friends probably on the internet.
Very
probably,
fair, yeah.
But you can't neck chop somebody on the internet, much to my dismay.
That's true. Unless you want to AOL Instant Messenger roleplay it out or something.
Oh Lord.
Anyway,
you have no idea how many times I've wanted to punch somebody through the internet.
Right. So
anyway,
all right.
Kyoko's like, "Which side are you on, Homura?" And Homura delivers this sick burn, "Oh, I'm on the side of people who think rationally and don't think pointless
thoughts. Who aren't idiots.
I wonder which side you're on." And she's like, "Kyoko Sakura," and Kyoko's very weirded out by the fact that Homura knows her name, and she's
knows
like,
her name.
"Do I know you?" And Homura's like basically just doesn't answer again.
Because she does.
Yeah.
Because Homura knows her.
Homura knows something.
Sakura doesn't.
Homura knows something she's not getting on.
Okay, this is getting more and more into Star Trek time loop episode territory.
It is.
So
okay, we're also Star Trek fans, so we know this.
So we know about
shit.
Convoluted time travel plots, and this is starting to stink of that.
Yes.
So Kyoko's like, "Okay, fine, keep your secrets," with that cute Lord of the Rings gif. And
Yes.
and
I love
she
it.
basically leaves. And Homura turns towards Madoka, and she like legit gets mad at Madoka for even being there.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yep.
why are you here? Why are you keep getting involved? Why do you keep ignoring me when I tell you to like not come to these areas and not get involved and not talk to Kyubey? Yeah.
Is this where like the rant we went on is that where we should put that?
We might as well.
We might as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
Might as well. We got a rant.
Rant away. Go ahead.
So like the way I see it, like the longer you wait before she makes the contract, the more you get the impression that the contract is going to be made very close to the end or at like the height of dramatic tension of the arc. But I feel like Madoka knew she was going to make this contract in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's known all along she's going to make this contract. She keeps putting herself in, the line of fire of making this contract. She keeps putting herself in situations where she might have to make this contract. And I think on some level, Madoka wants to make the contract, knows she's going to do it, but wants to be put in a position where she has absolutely no choice so that the decision is in no way selfish. Because she seems very afraid that she's going to be, selfish about the decision of wanting to be a magical girl for its own sake, or that her wish is going to be inherently selfish or something like that. And, in Madoka 14-year-old idiot brain, she's thinking, well, if I keep waiting until I have absolutely no choice whatsoever, and the only rational answer to prevent wholesale destruction is to make this contract, then it will be a truly selfless, unselfish act, and then I can safely make it without guilt.
See, I don't agree with you, but mostly because I think Madoka just isn't even thinking about it that hard.
Oh, no, I'm not saying she's thinking it, I don't think she's parsing that out, she's definitely not thinking that out, but I feel like that's, that's subconscious.
The subconscious underpinnings of her
she
wants
to make this contract. And she keeps putting herself where she wants to make this contract, but she's waiting, I think, for a point where she feels like she'd have the moral high ground.
I think she's legitimately worried about Sayaka and what's going on here. She's legitimately...
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. That too.
She's legitimately worried about Homura and Kyoko and Sayaka, and I think it's more the extent of, people are telling me to not do this, and I do think it's a bad idea. The way Mommy died was terrible, but I will make a wish if it means I'm going to save my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can definitely be both. I don't think it's one or the other.
They don't contradict each other at all.
But she definitely is, she's trying to do the right thing by the most people that she thinks are involved, and she keeps following around Sayaka, I think, with that in mind.
I kind of feel like what's going to happen here is there's going to be successively more extreme situations, and...
Well, they've kind of already done that.
She's going to keep on finding a reason each time not to make
so
a contract.
Far, Deus Ex Homura has stopped her from making the contract in every situation where she's about to open her mouth.
Yeah.
Because Homura is playing chess with fate here. She's obviously trying to stop whatever happened in that first Avant. And
she clearly thinks Homura is the linchpin there. I mean,
she knows Madoka's the linchpin, But we'll get into that
later,
because
that's just kind of my feeling of how what the kind of subconscious thing here is. I don't think at any point anyone, including the viewer, thought she wasn't going to make this contract. That's why they don't have it. There's no subterfuge in the opening. She's wearing her outfit in the opening. She's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's kind of I find it very hard to feel like it's being genuinely sold as a conflict that she's fighting and may say no to. Because it's not, she's going to do it.
Yeah.
We shall see.
So yeah.
So Homura's like, you know what? If I have to get drastic with this, then fine, that's what I'll do. And then she just walks off.
Which is very... yeesh.
Yeah. Kyubey is like, the way he says here is so weird. Kyubey's like, one thing's for certain, we have to be careful because she's planning something. And then
Kyubey, you shithead.
And then Kyubey's like, aren't you, Homura? And it's the most sinister thing ever. And at this point, the pretense is gone. We don't know exactly what's going on yet, but clearly Kyubey is not completely in the right here, and Homura is not completely in the wrong either.
Isn't our copy something like "it couldn't be" or something like that? Could it possibly be?
Yeah.
Like the line is the same tone, like the same message is being put across, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, it's clearly.
I did hear a Masaka in there, which is usually translated as "it can't be" or "it couldn't be."
Yeah.
But, no, that's.
Okay.
I'm gonna say what I've maintained all along from the very first time I saw Homura. She's right. Homura's right.
Now,
Homura can be right, and Kyubey can also have done nothing wrong.
I mean, true.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is
it's
true.
Okay.
So after the credits, we are in Sayaka's room. And she's using a grief seed to purify her soul gem. And if you look closely, it's the grief seed that she got when she fought the computer monitor witch, HNLE.
Yeah.
This is interesting. This is another info dump scene because
this could have been more useful information to convey.
Yeah, this is another one of those signals that Kyubey picks people who are not going to ask relevant questions about this kind of information. Kyubey's like, you need to give that to me now because if you use it to absorb any more darkness, the witch could hatch out of the grief seed. And he takes it and does like a little twirl and like juggles it on his tail, and then it goes into his back.
This is proof that Kyubey is a garbage disposal.
Yeah,
the end.
Yeah, his back literally opens up like a flap, like a garbage can, and it goes into his back. And Sayaka's like, "Did you just eat it?" And Kyubey says, "Yeah, that's one of my many duties." So
Kyubey is a weirdo who keeps grief seeds in his pencil box.
Oh my god!
Like, what is that?
That's.
And of
Kyubey
course,
is a garbage can.
And of course, Sayaka again does not ask any questions.
Nope.
Hold on, Kyubey, explain.
She's like, this seems legit.
Yeah. And then this scene is interesting because Kyubey basically explains to her that you need to get grief seeds if you want to be strong as a magical girl, because the more grief seeds you have, the more magic you can spend. And
it's currency.
And that's why Kyoko is so strong, because she has a bunch of them in reserve. So if Sayaka wants to be able to beat her, she also needs to have a bunch in reserve.
Is this a message about capitalism and accumulation of resources?
A little bit, maybe.
I mean,
oh my god.
So
seize the means of production of grief.
Das Madoka.
Yeah. Sayaka, of course, has an issue with this because she doesn't want to let innocent people get hurt just for grief seeds. And Kyubey is stone cold here. He's like, well, the reason Mommy didn't need a lot of grief seeds is because she was way better at this than you are. And so is is Kyoko. By the way.
we got a theory.
We got a theory there.
All right.
Mommy shouldn't have needed as many grief seeds to begin with because her power was survival.
Yeah, that's another element I think here.
Yeah.
To why
so whatever
she
mechanism
so
exists to keep her alive, she's better at utilizing it.
Yep.
Higher hit points.
Yeah.
And then of course, just to be more manipulative, Kyubey's like, listen, don't forget, Madoka has more natural talent than any of them. If you can't beat Kyoko, you could just ask Madoka to help you beat Kyoko. And and to Sayaka's credit, she's like, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna involve her. And she's like, this is my problem. I'm gonna take care of it myself.
Fucking Kyubey.
Yeah.
Kyubey, he's basically doing the whole divide and conquer thing. He's trying to get her friend to pressure her as well now.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, she's trying to be on that moral high ground, but
Sayaka
I'll get to that later.
Is trying her hardest.
I'll get to her later.
Point, yeah.
Yep.
So the next scene is Kyoko basically playing DDR in an arcade.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Except that it's clearly witch DDR, because all of the symbols around it are just barely not witch symbols, and barely not witches.
The arcade cabinet was clearly designed by Inukuri.
Yes.
And, so she's playing DDR, and Homura goes to see Kyoko. And, Kyoko's like, what do you want? And Homura says, you know what? You can have the city, because Sayaka's not good at it, and I want everything to be settled peacefully. So instead, let me handle her, and I'll strike a deal with you. And she says, if I take care of Sayaka and get her out of the way so you can move in here, I want you to help me beat a witch called Walpurgisnacht that's going to come 2 weeks from now.
Okay, I have a lot to say here.
Okay.
Our translation does not make it explicitly clear she's talking about a witch.
Yeah.
Our translation, like when we watched it, is something like, Walpurgisnacht is coming, and it doesn't say it's a witch. It's that you just hear that it's some. Yeah. Shit. So now this totally. Yeah. Now it's okay. So this is new information to us. Okay. We didn't know it was a particular witch that was coming.
Yeah, that may have been a quirk of Japanese because it's much easier to drop subjects and objects and sentences in Japanese and have them be implied. So I think they may have needed to add in the word witch to some of Homer's dialogue just for it to make sense in English. And right now we're watching the dub, so that's probably what happened.
I also have a lot to say about this particular thing.
Okay.
Because this is another example of Homer playing chess with fate. Mm-hmm. And what she's doing, as far as I can tell, is maneuvering Kyoko into the position of most exposure to danger.
Ooh. Yeah, if there's a big massive witch coming and it's like, oh, you could have the whole city that the giant witch is coming into.
Exactly.
That kind of implies that Kyoko would be the first one in the line of fire.
And I feel like she's doing it to kind of save Sayaka as much as possible. Not because she gives a shit about Sayaka, but because Madoka does.
Right.
Nobody likes Kyoko. She's trash.
As far as Homer is concerned, she's disposable. Yeah. So she's putting her in the position of most
Not
danger.
only is she disposable, she is powerful. So she is likely to do the most damage
first off
while the witch is at its highest power.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're playing an RPG, she would be the first one you'd have.
So yeah, like I'm saying, this is Homer playing chess with fate.
Very strategic.
Again.
Yeah.
She's good at it, too.
Yeah, and
I like the way she's positioning them.
Yeah, and Homura, Kyoko, to Kyoko's credit, Kyoko asks some questions here. Kyoko's like, hold on, who are you?
This stinks.
How do you know Walpurgisnacht is coming? And unfortunately, Homura is like, that's my business, and I'm not going to tell you.
Imitsu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Kyoko, despite that, Kyoko's like, okay, fine. And Kyoko, she offers her Pocky. And
it's okay.
This is code for cigarettes.
I love this because this is code for cigarettes, and they've been using her Pocky as code for cigarettes the whole time. And then later they do that with the tumblers and the booze.
We'll get there. Because I got things to say about that.
But it just strikes me as so cute. She's like, want to smoke, kid?
Yeah,
It's totally how she presents herself as being the way more jaded. I've been around the block.
Yeah.
Opposition to mommy, which is like that curious cat. Like, she's also a parent, like a grown-up.
Yeah.
As far as magical girls, but she's the one that offers you smokes.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, Homer is having none of it.
And Homer doesn't want any.
Kyoko is the wine aunt.
Yes.
She's
magical girl wine aunt.
She swings by the 7-Eleven to get you a pack of natties for you and your friends when you come back from prom night.
God bless.
Yep.
Anyway, let us continue.
Anyway, yes, let's get back
to Sayaka digging herself into a deep grave.
Yeah, this scene is where you start to see some of Sayaka's character flaws coming out. She is quite rude and quite this is Sayaka being petty and
rigid,
self-important,
morally rigid.
Yeah,
very rigid.
Sayaka and Madoka are looking for the familiar that they were trying to fight yesterday when Kyoko crashed their search. And Madoka, Madoka's trying to talk to Sayaka about why she's worried about her. She's like, if you run into Kyoko again, if you keep walking around, you're going to run into her again. And, how about if when that happens, you could talk to her and you can figure out a way for maybe you to work together. Because you're just going to get in a fight again. And Sayaka's like,
Fuck no.
yeah, Sayaka's like, fuck no, you understand we were trying to kill each other, right? You want me to talk to somebody who is trying to kill me? That's insane.
I mean, if you used your brain for half a second, Sayaka, you would realize that fighting to the death is a bad thing.
Okay.
Kyubey has literally already told her, you cannot beat Kyoko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is how stubborn and rigid she's being.
Mm-hmm.
She can't even fathom trying to work together with somebody like Kyoko.
So, question, before I go off on my shit.
Sure.
Is Sailor Mercury the rigid, moralistic one?
No,
Like, would she be the analog here?
I don't think so. I think, if anything, the Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune would be the rigid ones with very strong principles who don't want to back down from how they think something needs to be fixed.
Well, here's the thing. Isn't Blue usually the intellectual one?
Yes, but
she's got her little, like, computer stuff.
Mercury is not rigid in this way.
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to get at here is I don't think that Sayaka quite fits the stereotype of the Blue. Like,
she
sure fits the stereotype of Miki, though.
Yeah,
well,
she's very idealistic and unrealistic, and doesn't appreciate everything going on around her.
That offhand comment that she made about, oh, you wouldn't think a person like me would appreciate classical music. And the fact that her schoolwork is never mentioned, and the fact that she's the first one to bring a bat, and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody who's like the cool-headed intellectual stereotype of the Blue that I kind of thought existed.
She seems ready for a fight.
Yeah. So it almost seems like,
and she does have the most like warrior kind of outfit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like the color of her hair is like a red herring.
Okay. Well, in that case, then this doesn't mean anything. But I totally went off on this rampage about how I keep saying she's Miki because I mean
I feel like that's hard for you to undo your brain on because you see blue hair and there's Miki and Utena and there's Sayaka, Miki and Madoka.
But they have a lot in common.
Yeah,
they both
absolutely
are
do.
very blindly standing on this moral high ground of horseshit and I know better than you. Even though they're weak and really don't they're not really going to pose any real threat, but they have this insistence on having this moral high ground. Miki is a character that duels Utena for Anthe, thinking he has the moral high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sayaka is picking fights with other magical girls because she thinks she has the moral high ground. And in neither case was actually the possibility of winning important.
Yeah,
it was more just,
case
this is the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
They kind of both expect rightness to win the day when we don't
Except
live
that they're
in a
totally
just world.
misguided as to what's right.
It's a very childish concept to believe that because you're doing the right thing, you deserve and will get the outcome that you want.
Yeah. And that you know what the right thing is.
Yeah.
It's not that simple.
This is a topic that comes up later in the episode, actually, in a scene that I would be ranting about if I could talk about spoilers yet, but let's get to that.
I know.
Yeah, let's get to that.
But yeah, no, I'm not impressed with how her attitude is here.
Yeah, she's being very harsh to Madoka. All Madoka's doing is hey, you think maybe it would be a good idea for you guys to work together? Because you're supposed to be killing witches, and it really doesn't make any sense for you to be fighting each other. Mm-hmm. And Sayaka's just refusing.
Let me play devil's advocate for a little bit here.
No, I want to.
No. I hardly ever get to do it.
You go ahead.
Vana and her devil fetish. Anyway, I don't think Madoka is being any more realistic than Sayaka. Well, they're both being 14. Yeah, they're both being 14, but, there's not really a way to reconcile I don't want innocents killed, and I don't give a shit whether innocents get killed.
Yeah.
There's not a compromise between those two stances.
Contrast this conversation that Madoka has with the one she has with Homura, and how they both react to the same basic, can't we all just get along, good intent. Homura reacts, negatively, but she's only as cruel as she needs to be to try and drive home a point
Yeah,
that doesn't get driven home anyway.
Homura's like, when she tries to have this conversation with Homura's like, listen, I'm not going to mince words, but I'm not going to do that. And I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry if that upsets you. And then she just gets up and leaves. Sayaka here is like twisting the knife as hard as she can.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's angry. She's angry that she asked. She's angry that she's having to justify herself because she's right, goddammit.
Well, I mean, Madoka questioned her.
Yeah.
And that probably offends her more than anything else, because Madoka's her friend and should understand.
And
by her logic.
Yeah. And like
that's one thing.
And Madoka's like, well, listen, Madoka's like, well, if Homura and Mommy had been getting along, maybe Mommy wouldn't have died. And Sayaka like really explodes when she says that, because I've got
a thing to say there.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, okay, this is the part, isn't it, where I'm mad at Urobuchi.
Oh, all right.
Because he just elides right by the fact that Sayaka did not know that Mami had trapped Homura, and Madoka does, and she does not say anything.
Well, Madoka does try to say, like, no, that is not how that happened. And Sayaka does not give her... run right over. Yeah, Sayaka does not give her a chance to even try to fire back at that, you know?
I'm still... That's expecting us to elide right by a very important fact that should have been conveyed. That's sloppy work, sir. I see you. I see you, Urobuchi.
No, I don't mind it as much.
Yeah. I feel like it's something easy to miss if you don't remember the exact circumstances of how that went down in episode 3.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that Sayaka did not see that happen, and Madoka was standing right there when she saw Mommy do that to Homura. So, yeah.
All I'm saying is that it's just not a very good choice to not have Madoka immediately mention that and make it audible.
That said, it's not hard to believe that Madoka didn't get the chance and Sayaka just runs right over her.
Like, it doesn't really change the scene any if she does.
It would have helped the audience understand it a little better.
Yeah, exactly.
If Madoka had been like, that's not what happened. Mommy tied Homura up, and then like she gets interrupted, and Sayaka's like, no, I don't believe you at all, or something like that. Just to give a bit of a reminder.
It doesn't matter, or whatever. Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't change the scene at all. But the fact that it's not there is a flaw.
Yeah, that could have been clarified a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get mad because this is clearly about like escalation of an argument.
Yeah,
and you don't always think of the best important information when you're fighting.
This is the first time I've had to do that with this show.
Valid.
That's not too honestly. That's not bad. We're halfway through.
Not bad.
We're halfway through, and that's the first time. Yeah,
that's super not bad, and that's something that catches me all the time. I cannot watch like popular sitcoms or Game of Thrones or anything like that without freaking out at the writing.
Yeah.
You know what? It gets insulting when a plot point hinges on someone not conveying information to somebody else.
Or you're banking on the fact that an audience member remembers something that happened in an episode like 5 or 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And you don't like some stories can go way overboard with that. Like for example, Persona 5 is like
I've heard.
is a JRPG. Persona 5 will remind you of things that happened in cutscenes like 5 minutes earlier. Like shit that happened in the cutscene immediately before the one that you're watching now. And it's like, okay, I get it. I could have put that together myself. You don't need to spell it out to me that hard. Yeah. But if it was like something from like 10 hours earlier in the story, then I can understand why you'd throw in a little flashback scene to like help the audience remember what the game is referring to. Yeah.
Flashing back to my flashback during my flashback. Yeah.
So,
flashback.
Just to make this even worse before she storms off, Sayaka starts being like, what if that familiar killed your family, Madoka? Don't you get it? Isn't it worse? Okay. Wouldn't you feel
death
terrible?
Energy.
Yeah.
That's foreshadowing,
huge
man.
if true.
That's foreshadowing, man. That's 100% foreshadowing. So... I believe the family is gonna get smooshed. I swear to God. That just feels
like such a fucking mic drop.
I know.
To put in your anime.
This reminds me Sayaka's really being not cool in this scene.
No.
She's really being a bitch.
She's a garbage friend.
Yeah, I have some cousins who are like hardcore gun people, and whenever I try to talk to them about gun control, they're always like, well, what if a guy broke into your house and tried to rape you? Wouldn't you want a gun then? And it's like, come on.
Oh dear.
You're being, that is a very reductionist, like you're derailing the conversation by basically threatening me with the possibility of rape, and somehow a gun is going to save me from that. That's kind of like what's happening here. Like, Sayaka's like, what if that familiar killed your family, Madoka? Wouldn't you feel awful?
Totally is.
Yeah, she's basically doing the same kind of thing. And
it's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap.
It's desperate.
Yeah.
It's desperate arguing. It's when you're losing ground and you're like,
and you know it.
Yeah.
And you're trying to dig something up that will have enough emotional impact to shut the conversation
exactly
down, and that's what Sayaka is doing.
And she basically just stomps off after that. And Monika's like in tears, and she's like, Kyubey, why don't you say something? And Kyubey says, she's being reckless, and she's not going to listen to me, even if I did warn her. I mean, he kind of did already warn her.
To be fair.
Yeah.
He is being right there.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I'll tell you what, Sayaka has no chance of beating either Homura or Kyoko.
More pressure. More pressure.
Yeah. Just to make it a little more
honestly, we should have started like a pressure ding as well.
What about tonight, baby? What about tonight?
Yep.
So then in the next scene, this is the scene I really like. In the next scene, Madoka's at home trying to sleep, and she hears that someone's awake. So when she gets up, she sees that her mom is like fresh out of the shower, and she's drinking booze in the kitchen.
What a baller.
Yeah. So they sit down together, and Madoka has like a glass of orange juice or something. And they have this conversation. And Madoka says, listen, a friend of mine is in trouble. And she's not really doing anything wrong. But every time she tries to do the right thing, like, her situation keeps getting worse. So things keep getting worse for her. And I don't know what to do. And, and her mom brings up, we were talking about earlier, like, listen, just because somebody tries to do the right thing doesn't mean you're going to get the happy ending that you want. And actually, the more rigid you are, the more unhappy you're going to be. Like, the more idealistic you are, the more unhappy you're going to be when it doesn't live up to reality, is kind of what I take away from what she's saying here. And Madoka's like, well, it's not fair for somebody to be unhappy if, like, especially if they're not doing anything wrong, they're trying to do the right thing.
Life's not fair, is it?
Yeah. She is a precious cinnamon roll. She really is. She's very naive, but she has the purest of a heart and intentions for all of her friends here.
Okay. But.
Go ahead.
But in this scene, just as the Pocky is being a stand-in for cigarettes, Madoka's drink is framed as a stand-in for booze, and genuinely looks at it.
Yeah,
it genuinely
like
looks like
ice in it, and it's cute.
So, as far as I'm concerned, in this scene, Madoka is like shotgunning an entire pint glass full of whiskey.
That is the emotional text. She's like, bitch, I need a drink. So she like goes downstairs and gets some juice.
This is a hard drinking Madoka is what this is.
And Kyoko, chain smokes Pocky because she's stressed.
Yeah.
She needs.
No, like these are adult symbols being put around these children,
which is, I think, actually really neat because it like, there's still childish things, like, it's still orange juice, it's still Pocky, but you're still getting across the emotional framing that you would use in language.
Exactly, it's very clever.
Yeah, something with
very
characters.
Like, okay, so that wasn't exactly
instead of the rugged noir character chain smoking, Kyoko is chain eating Pocky. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So that wasn't really a rebuttal to what you were saying, but I just wanted to add that to the scene.
Madoka purely needs a drink right now. It's cute.
Also, I wanted to say Madoka shotgunning a pint glass of whiskey and hard drinking Madoka, because I love those phrases. Those are just so good.
I stand hard drinking Madoka.
Madoka shotgunning a pint of whiskey should definitely be the title of this episode.
Look, I feel for her. Like, she needs a drink. Trying to juggle all of these pricks around her. Like, she's trying to do the right thing, and everyone else is just digging their graves and being pricks, and it's like...
Except for Homura. But she doesn't
Homura's not helping her right now either, as far
as she's concerned.
Really assisting.
Yeah.
She's not she's really not doing anything to make Madoka feel better about what's happening.
No.
Yeah.
No, but she can't, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
But Madoka doesn't know that. As far as Madoka understands this, she's like this pure sweet angel trying to make all of these idiots not be idiots and just get along. And it's like, oh, you sweet child.
Yeah.
This is gonna go terribly. But you kind of do root for her. But also, girl, you have a drink. You have your
she's got
alcoholic orange juice stand in and drink up. You need a pause.
So
in this.
So after having this discussion about how Sayaka's like basically stuck, her mom is like, well, are you willing to do something crazy to help the situation? And Madoka's like, yeah, I am. And she said, well then, of course, you should do something wrong. You should do the wrong thing. Because sometimes doing something that the other person doesn't like is enough to like snap them out of it and make them realize that what they're doing was wrong. And she might be mad at you for a while afterwards, but doing something and helping and then being mad is better than doing nothing about it and just letting things get worse. Which I think this scene kind of depends on the translation you're watching, because some of what Madoka's mom is saying is kind of strange in translation. But I think that's basically what she's trying to say. She's trying to say, like, do the opposite of what you think might be good. And then maybe doing that will change the situation enough to, like, make a solution appear.
Like, if you throw a different light on the same situation by taking a different, stance.
Yeah.
It's basically just introducing a chaotic element into a stable system.
Well, it forces you to decide what you know what it is? It's like when you're having a hard time making a decision, so you flip a coin. Mm-hmm. But whichever side you get on, you immediately know whether you agree or not.
Yeah.
You've put someone in a position where, oh, well, now this choice has been taken away. Oh, now you know what you want. Okay.
We're gonna come back to this way later. This is gonna be a scene we talk about when we get to the rebellion movie.
I really like it though.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. Like, the advice her mom gives is like really wholesome and good.
It's good advice.
It's just so hard to, like, for 14-year-old to soak that up in the right way. Like, you kind of get the impression that it's going to be...
Madoka's mom is like, listen, you're a really good kid, and I raised you really well, and you don't lie to people, and you don't do bad things, and you always try to do the right thing and take care of others. But listen, you need to learn how to make mistakes, because when you're an adult, you're going to make mistakes, and the stakes are way higher when you're an adult. Like, you can't make mistakes as easily and recover from them later.
Yeah.
So if you need to screw this up, kind of, like, do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah. And she's right.
Yeah.
She's absolutely right.
But it's interesting because that's like a deceit of like pretty much all of these things that are about like young characters, like Magical Girl or any of these, is this. There's always some plot contrivance to make that situation literally have higher stakes than anything adulthood could have.
Life or death situation.
Yeah, and it's like that kind of extension of how it feels to be that age, because at that age,
everything
you can be told it's going to be more important when you're an adult, but you don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's all life or death right now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Except that in Madoka's case, it is literally
life or death right now.
Which is why she needs to drink.
And then they're like, we're gonna go out drinking together when you're older, which is cute.
I know. She's such a wholesome mother.
Yeah, I love her mom.
This is honestly the family is just radiating death energy to me.
You know what? I like her mother because she shows up rarely enough to still feel effective without it being like beaten over your head.
Yeah, she's always there to deliver like something that's relevant to what's going on in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you don't see her too often, which is nice because it's like
That can wear out its welcome.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
The informed adult. And then, like, we're at Sayaka being a piece of garbage.
Sayaka being
Well, sort of.
a someone angry about the friend zone kind of person.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she shows
Yep.
she shows up
It's
to
a reverse friend zone.
Yeah, she shows up to the hospital and Kyosuke is gone. And interestingly, all of the mismatched chairs are also gone in the
There's
hospital
nothing to
room.
see anymore.
There's nothing to see
Yeah.
there anymore.
Yeah.
That's why they're gone.
Now there's just two plain matching chairs up close to the bed like you would expect to see in a hospital room.
Mm-hmm.
So she leaves the and a nurse walks by and she's like, oh, he was discharged from the hospital because he's doing better and he's done with all of his testing. So she goes down to his house and she...
Girl, if he didn't tell you
wasn't
that
told.
he was done with his therapy and not in the hospital, that kind of a message
that's
there,
a
don't you
big
think?
friend zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even friend zone. That's acquaintance zone.
Yeah, like she goes to his house and she gets ready to ring the doorbell, and instead she hears him playing the violin. And then instead of ringing the doorbell, she just stands there and listens to the violin.
Which is actually kind of nice, because you get the idea that she's made the decision that, okay, I wasn't contacted, maybe he wants his privacy, at least he's playing his violin.
But she had to stalk her way under his windowsill to make that decision.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's kind of...
It's still, it's kind of like
It's an
a
effort.
good decision made at the last moment.
An effort was made.
Yeah.
See, I feel like this is more Sayaka being a coward still. Or maybe it's both.
It's possible.
Yeah, no, I definitely kind of read it that way.
She would still rather stand from afar and fantasize than, like, be honest with him or herself.
Mhm.
Like, she still doesn't have the bravery to actually ring the doorbell and see him.
Which is interesting because she has the bravery to give up her own life to save his arm.
Yeah.
But not
enough to actually walk up to him and risk being refused.
Right.
Yeah, to be honest, I was kind of interpreting that scene through more of a lens of advising people from time to time when they are getting too clingy with somebody or that kind of thing.
Just back
and
off.
in this situation, I would have been like, look, you weren't told, so you're not wanted.
You need
so
to wait.
you should
Give him
back
some
off.
space, yeah.
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 But then Kyoko's gonna show up and pour tea.
Yeah. Then Kyoko shows up and starts some shit.
Oh my god, she does.
I love her.
Yeah, she's
my favorite.
She shows up and she's like, listen, you're just gonna leave without seeing him? I know that guy is the guy that you made a contract for. Oh, how pathetic is that? It's so stupid to use magic for anyone other than yourself because it always turns out bad.
Gee, the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah. So Kyoko's like, I know what you can do. Go in there and fuck him up real hard, and then he can't move. And then he'll be completely dependent on you because he's like a vegetable. And Sayaka is so easily antagonized by all of this.
Oh my god.
She gets very triggered very quickly.
Yeah, this is like a Sanji moment.
Yeah.
She just isn't thinking.
Yeah. So Sayaka challenges her to a fight, basically. And Kyoko's like, let's go somewhere more quiet. Like, let's go somewhere more private.
Oh, come on. Wait a second.
But first she offers to bust her up herself.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most amazing line. She's like, magical girl to magical girl.
I'll break his legs.
I'll break his legs and do you a favor.
And I'm like,
That's
what a fucking
brilliant.
icon. And I'm genuinely surprised that they put that out there. Like, I mean,
That's
clearly
amazing.
that's what she thinks. And, like, I figured that, you would interpret her intent that way. But no, she's literally just going to say, no, I'll break his legs so he can't get away.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
I'm like, I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That line is so amazing.
I love it. I love it so much.
So we have a quick little scene where Kyubey runs off to get Madoka and tell her that Sayaka's in trouble. Of course, because he wants to manipulate her into making a contract.
For some reason, Madoka needs to be here. Can't imagine why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then we see that Kyoko and Sayaka are fighting on, a bridge.
A bridge.
Does this count
Over
as
traffic.
a bridge, or is this just
Yes.
the most over-designed overpass?
No,
ever?
This is a bridge. This is like a foot
An
bridge.
overpass is
Oh,
an
okay.
overpass is still a kind of bridge.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
No, it's a
the
footbridge
cars-
too. It's not an overpass. It's like
Yeah,
it's like
that's
when you
right,
want to
that's
cross
right.
a 6-lane highway or something on foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Sorry,
Which
that
is
was
still a bridge.
my mistake.
But
But
the cars are not
yeah.
all in a line now.
The cars are not in a line anymore. They're all scattered the way you would
They're
expect
acting like
traffic
regular
to
Yeah.
go. So,
Which is-
that's something to note.
Interesting.
Also, the previous scene was about boys, and this scene is a magical girl fight. So once again, we're moving from, like, normal teenage life, like arguing about
Yes.
boys, into fighting to the death with
Mhm.
magic. And so we're moving again,
Yep.
like, bridging from
like-
that to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
This bridge
I like the
stuff
bridge
is
stuff.
like, yeah, okay. Here's the thing. I want to expand on the bridge stuff a little
Sure.
bit because I mentioned it briefly, but as it goes along, like this bridge is the bridge to hell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. As
All
we're
of
gonna see.
this
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Well, yes, but this is what you're calling, or you would call, the descent into hell. Every time they're on a bridge, they step a little bit further into the magical girl world, and every time they're on
Yep.
a bridge, it becomes more and more violent.
Yeah.
Like this is like I said, this is their descent into hell. Every
Well,
time we see a
initially,
bridge,
like,
it's going to go
their
further, I'm
regular
pretty
lives
sure.
were fairly separate from the whole magical thing, and you keep
Mhm.
getting this escalation where the magical girl lifestyle, so to speak, keeps creeping into their
Mhm.
day-to-day lives, so that at this point, your crush on this boy is becoming a thing you solve
Yeah, exactly.
this way, instead of
Mhm.
like you're seeing fewer and fewer scenes with the green-haired chick, and
Yeah.
they're totally sliding
So,
more
yeah.
into thinking of their lives as this magical girl thing.
So-
Madoka included, even though she hasn't made the contract yet.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking about the bridge, is it's
Yeah.
meant to be a scene of escalation. It's
Yeah.
meant to be a step further towards hell.
This whole scene escalates the stakes here enormously.
It
Yes.
really
Yeah.
does.
Yes,
So-
I love this scene.
Dem
I love
stakes.
this
Yes.
scene. There's a lot to pick
Yes.
over.
So Sayaka and Kyoko are about to fight. Madoka shows up like, no, don't. And Kyoko has a great line. I don't know what this was in the version you guys watched, but in this one, she's like, oh, the annoying bitch has an annoying friend.
That is basically the same take.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
still,
It's
it was still
basically-
great.
And then as she says that, Homura teleports in from nowhere.
Pops up next
Yeah.
to her.
Yep.
And
I love how
Which is,
Homura
like,
fucks with her.
Almost comedic timing, like
Yep.
the way the shot is done. It's almost funny, and I'm like,
it is pretty funny.
I love
Actually, no, I think this is meant for comedy because she comes right out of Kyoko's shadow, like almost
Like, what?
immediately.
like just fucking with her.
Yeah, to me, that's Homura having some fun.
Yeah.
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 she's like, Kyoko, why are you breaking our deal? And Kyoko's like, listen, I think your idea is stupid, and Sayaka isn't backing down, so this is gonna happen anyway. So Homura says, okay, well then I'll take care of her. And she's about to fight Sayaka now. And basically it keeps escalating and escalating, so Madoka, kind of taking her mother's advice here, runs forward, grabs Sayaka's soul gem out of her hand, and throws it off the bridge. And it
Onto a passing truck.
Yeah.
Which is a rational thing to do if you don't have pertinent information that
Yeah.
Kyubey has not given you.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as she does that,
Okay.
Homura's like, what the fuck? And she teleports away.
And disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Homura did
and-
not expect that.
No.
And I like the Kyubey's like, how could you throw away your friend like that? Like the meaning of what just happened should be evident to her already.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Homura immediately runs off because Homura seems to know exactly what this is, even though Kyoko does not.
yeah, Kyoko has
This
no
is a
idea what's
detail
going on.
Yeah,
And Sayaka,
Kyoko doesn't know.
after like maybe 2 or 3 seconds, Sayaka collapses, and
Mhm.
Kyubey is like, how could you throw your friend away?
That's-
you-
that's
you just
shit.
threw your friend off the bridge. And
that's
Kyubey's like, there's a limit to how far a, quote, magical girl, unquote, can be from, quote, her body. And essentially, Sayaka's body is just an empty body, and the real Sayaka is her soul gem now, and Madoka threw Sayaka off the bridge and onto a truck.
okay. So here's where I get real angry at Kyubey again.
Yeah.
Because this
What
actually
a dick.
well yeah, what a dick, but this is actually extremely pertinent information
Yeah.
that should be given to every magical
Okay,
girl
no,
before
I'm
they
gonna
start.
disagree.
No. I'm not saying what Kyubey would do. I'm saying what
Okay.
should be done. This is a consent matter.
Yeah.
Like,
you
to
shouldn't
be honest,
be
okay.
trying to rope 14-year-old girls into permanent life-altering devil contracts anyway.
Maybe this is just me, but I don't really think so. Everything Kyubey does is presented as pressuring and grooming and lack of consent, and it's not sexual in the least, but it's using things that go around sexual assault.
Okay, yeah, if Kyubey was not a wooby little cat thing and was,
if Kyubey was a man,
tall man,
yeah,
with the
this
same
would
script,
be incredibly
we
fucked
would all
up
be
with
gagging nonstop.
Yeah. So
like we do with Utena.
Yeah, absolutely. But, like, that's what I'm seeing here is, like, it's not sexual in the least. Like, that's not at all what I'm saying, but it's using the trappings of sexual assault to move
Of
Madoka
coercion
and the other
yeah.
girls towards being magical girls, which is just,
it's
creepy as fuck.
It's a violation of their bodily integrity that they didn't give him permission to do.
And whatever Kyubey's on about, he clearly thinks that his entitlement to that supersedes their right to their individuality. So I'm curious to see what Kyubey's shit is, because Kyubey clearly thinks that whatever he's doing
is
more important than the bodily autonomy of these 14-year-old girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Homura, we cut to Homura, like, using her teleportation power to run down the street as much as she can to catch up with the truck. And Sayaka is just, like, legit dead, like, non-responsive on the bridge. And Kyoko is horrified, and she grabs Kyubey and demands a answer to what the hell's going on. And Kyubey's like, we remove the soul from the girls' bodies when we make you magical girls, and doing that keeps you safer, and you can be way more injured in a fight and be okay, because then you can just use magic to heal yourself.
yeah.
And
the human body is frail garbage.
Yeah, are
so.
you like, you really think I would let you fight witches with, like, your mortal bodies? That's crazy. It's impossible to do that. And
Which is fair.
Yeah. And Kyoko's like, you turned us into zombies. That's crazy. Why didn't you tell us? And Kyubey, even though everyone's horrified, Kyubey is just confused. He's like,
yeah.
Why do humans, what he says is, why do humans always get so upset about the container that their souls are in? Which is
because you didn't tell them, asshole.
Okay. To be fair, the presumption here is that if he had told them, there would still be a level of horror that humans would tend to have.
Well, yeah.
But like, it's worse because he doesn't mention
would choose it anyway.
Some people would choose it anyway.
If he was upfront about it, I'd choose it. I'd be like,
Kyoko would have chosen it anyway if she known.
Exactly.
But it's still... But he does have, like, kind of a point. Like, it kind of get... If you're not human, that particular preoccupation might seem confusing to you if you were, like...
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Some other fucking species or spirit or god or...
Yeah, do you...
I won't deny that at all.
I don't know.
But it's still...
I have mentioned before on stuff that I think we edited out that Gen Urobuchi does not see Kyubey as a villain in this story.
No.
He does not see Kyubey as being evil. Kyubey legitimately does not understand why they are upset about this.
But I kind of feel it, though.
He legitimately doesn't get it.
He really doesn't.
Purely as a practical matter.
Yeah.
Purely,
it totally makes sense.
He should.
He should. Yeah.
Though. After dealing with it for so long, he should get it.
But
that makes him unadaptable and a bad manipulator.
But that's the point, though. It's telling you something about what Kyubey is used to doing and what access he has.
See, the thing is, he learned not to tell them that was a thing.
Yeah, he made progress.
Yeah.
He just,
he learned.
He's a bad manipulator, and I will die on that hill.
He doesn't need to be a good one.
I don't care.
Clearly,
I am offended.
So basically, the episode closes out with Homura coming back. She puts Sayaka's soul gem back in her hand, and she just gets right up.
This is important.
Okay.
Yeah, because we lost our shit.
Okay, this is I think one of Homura's fatal mistakes.
There's a moment when she's looking at the soul gem when she picks it up where she's clearly not entirely sold on bringing it back.
For some reason, she knows that if she left Sayaka's soul to just, rot away or whatever, or
strategically the better move was
that,
to let her die.
Exactly.
But she can't do it.
Yeah,
she can't do it because she cares about Madoka.
Yeah.
She has a pained expression on her face as she picks
up.
But that's extremely important because that's a flaw in her game of chess.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the biggest, like, character building moment I've seen from her so far.
Yeah.
That she's, like, clearly conflicted between the option of killing this girl and of making Madoka happy, which kind of ups your perception of what she thinks the stakes are.
Yeah.
It would have been okay, and she would have been able to live with it on some level, letting this one girl die so that Madoka would theoretically lose kind of her interest or connection to this whole situation.
Yeah.
But she can't quite do it because Madoka's so distraught by it. Yeah, she cares about Madoka enough. She cares about Madoka enough to want to save her, but too much to be willing to hurt her. Like, it's that yikes thing.
This is a fatal flaw situation.
Yeah, this was a mistake on her part, but it was an understandable mistake and not a bad mistake, like evil, like wrong.
Yeah, for reasons I will get into later, I do think there's a certain element of Homura legitimately feeling bad for Sayaka also there. Although I won't get into why I think that quite yet.
Yeah, we don't have that information, so that's not a call we can make.
Yeah.
But that's good to know.
Yeah, I do think that at least, I'd say like 80% of her conflicted face there is knowing that Madoka's going to be upset. But I do think there's maybe like a 20% element to it of her legitimately being like, Sayaka, why did this have to happen to you? Kind of thought.
Yeah.
Because she did say in the previous, I think it was the previous episode when they were at the fast food place together, she was like, I should have been looking after Sayaka the same way I look after you. But Madoka is clearly above Sayaka.
Yeah, she's above her in
importance.
In Homura's set of priorities, Madoka is the top.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say back when back when Homura offered to fight Sayaka instead of Kyoko, that was her attempt at saving Sayaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she would have just KO'd her.
She knows that Kyoko would just fucking
kill her.
Mutilate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was an attempt at saving Sayaka.
Yeah.
A lot of this again is looking like Homura is playing chess with fate. She's trying to move people into positions where they will be most effective and do the least harm to Madoka.
She's acting like someone that's already seen the last episode.
Yeah. Homura watched the series first.
No, I'm serious. Like, she's got this, like, attitude around her where...
Yeah.
Like, she's not super attached to characters. She's not letting herself get emotionally attached to characters.
She's deliberately not attaching herself to them. She's deliberate.
She goes out of her way, to do that.
She knows they're gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's how it's gonna end up.
Given that there's
they're gonna
no
be picked
other
off
agent
one by one.
presented in this show to inform her information...
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like, there's ends of the world, so there's some entity that makes Toga so snarky. No. Homura just seems to be functioning on her own, which...
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I really admire that,
she is
actually.
very jaded. Like, there was that conversation that she had with Madoka, another bridge conversation, where she was like, yeah, I've seen so many people die that I can't even tell you how many people it was. Like she's...
Yeah, well, here's the thing. How many times did she, assuming that there is some kind of foreknowledge that she has, which I think is more than an assumption at this point. But, so how many times has she seen, literally, Sayaka, Kyoko, and Madoka die?
Yeah.
That's a question to ask.
Yeah, she seems like,
Oh, when we were watching this, it was like, she's the Red Angel.
She's the Red Angel from Star Trek Discovery.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know what this is. Explain it.
It's, in Disco
that is a spoiler if someone's watching it, though.
Oh, yeah, it's a huge
all right,
spoiler.
well,
so we can't
tell you after.
Okay,
we'll tell you
tell me
after.
Tell me after.
But yeah, she's definitely the Red Angel, and I would, love fan art of Homura
as
the Red Angel. That would be so cool. Anyway. But yeah, no, Homura is basically pitting herself against destiny, and I think that's super admirable. I love that. Even if it's a doomed fight, That's just so cool.
I love her, and that is not to keep bringing this up, but I when we talk about Rebellion, that's going to be like a 4-hour long recording.
That's fine.
I got so much to say
fine.
when we get to that. But that's...
It wouldn't be our first two-parter.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, beforehand, I'm probably gonna devil's advocate things you say because...
Absolutely.
Not because...
That's fine.
But that's just how I work conversationally a lot of the time.
Fine. And I want us to have guests who do like Rebellion, because I've mentioned it a few times. It's very polarizing. It's almost 50-50 of people who think it's good and people who think it's...
I'm very curious as to whether I'll like it or not.
That honestly usually ends up being the kind of thing we like.
Yeah, we usually go for yes with polarizing.
If I had to guess, the two of you are going to like it. But okay. I also think I'm going to be able to make you understand why
it's
definitely. For sure.
Yeah,
Our favorite thing about liking polarizing things is knowing why they're polarizing.
I mean, it's not like we don't know that Toga and Akio are garbage. They're completely garbage and we hate them. Yeah. But we also love them. So
yeah, me too. Or at least Toga. As long as he's a ghost.
Toga's a lot easier to sell.
Yeah. But as far as Rebellion goes, we're probably going to be in that camp where we love it but admit that it's garbage.
If nothing else, we're going to have a blast analyzing why people don't like it.
I'm
looking forward to this.
I look forward to explaining it. Anyway, we're getting way off topic here.
Yes, we are way off topic.
If you guys have one wish for this episode, what would it be?
Oh.
I still miss my witches.
Yeah.
But I know that's being immature. That's immature because we got all this really good plot stuff.
That's immature. That's a weird thing to say.
I wish someone would actually, get on Sayaka's shit. Go lie on a bed in a pink room and undress a little bit and drop some hot bombs on her.
What?
Whether she gets it or not.
What? I don't even understand what you're saying.
It's a Toga reference, you dolt.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about pooping on her.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, all right. Well, I can't really distinguish between these two at this point. But no. I wish someone would show up that could actually call her on this shit. But nobody is the resident Toga in this.
Yeah.
That would do that. Kyoko's she would say it and she's gonna call her on it, but it's not gonna sink in any valuable way. No. Sayaka's still on her moralistic high ground, and I'm kind of wondering what's gonna happen there.
I'm not gonna say I know what's gonna happen there, but I have some theories. I'm not gonna get into them.
What do you wish for, though?
Yeah, it's not the time for that. I wish that we knew more about Homura. The thing is, I'm not gonna say that would be beneficial to the episode.
Yeah.
I don't
feel
think
like less is more, maybe, at this point.
But I wish there had been liner notes or something that I could read about her.
I'm sure there are. We just can't go near them because it would be spoilery.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm wishing for spoilers at this point because
I'm looking forward to reading all that stuff later.
Adore Homura. She's awesome.
I
want to know all about her.
She is my favorite character, even though I know I am standing Madoka quite a lot. Homura is hands down my favorite character in the show. She's great.
I could definitely
absolutely a sucker for people who think that they can fuck with fate.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
yep.
One of my biggest buttons right there is somebody who's going to look at reality itself and be no,
it's interesting.
You're not going to happen that way.
It's a nice change of pace that character is someone like Homura, because that is usually the biggest douchebag in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we tend to like the douchebags.
It's your plucky protagonist, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
usually a douchebag.
It's usually not the dark, edgy one who's being emo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a nice change of pace there.
It is absolutely a nice change of pace, and I love the edgy emo characters anyway.
Me
so
too.
This is double whammy.
Yes.
I also love people who are manipulative, and Homura is definitely manipulative.
I would say at this point...
Better than Kyubey.
Yeah, she's better at it than Kyubey, but that's not saying much. But Kyubey has cute wooby energy, like fluffy toy.
Yeah.
And so he's got that working for him, aside from, like, this fuckboy thing
Homura
here.
does make mistakes, and we've pointed them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her mistake is coming from, like, a really hard place. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one in this episode wasn't her only mistake. Because remember, we were talking about the whole scene where the grief seed belongs to Mami.
only to magical girls, which is, like, the worst thing to say to people
that
who are
was the
trying
worst
to...
thing to say at that moment for what was going on. So it's not like she doesn't make mistakes, and I think those mistakes are going to bite her in the ass.
Like,
but
imagine if she had stayed during that scene and, like, tried to comfort them and, like, had backed up Madoka's claim that Mami had tied her up. Like, that would have probably completely changed Sayaka's perspective.
Yeah.
And we would not be in the position that we're in at this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So, but she doesn't want to do that kind of thing because she doesn't want to emotionally connect to a bunch of people that she's looking at as preemptive corpses.
Yeah, or
like,
she's also just, like, it's also just not the kind of person she is. Like, she's not warm.
Yeah.
You know, like, she wouldn't take the time to comfort them, you know?
No.
Yeah.
She's got shit to do.
Yeah.
She's manipulative, but she's honest.
Yeah.
And that's also nice because usually manipulative characters are dishonest characters.
Well, she's like a good counterpoint to Kyubey, who is nice.
But manipulative.
But manipulative. And she's
very dishonest.
And very dishonest. And she's the opposite. She's not very nice, and she is manipulative, but she is completely honest. You can take most of what she says pretty much at face value, because if it's something she can't say, she'll just be like, well, I'm not going to tell you that. And then just roll on with life. Whereas Kyubey will deliberately, misdirect and stuff like that.
She's just a really good character.
I like her a lot.
She's just really, really well done. We don't get a lot of information about her, and that's kind of what I'm wishing for now. I know it's spoilers, but she's just very intriguing.
We're getting there, though.
Yeah, we're getting there, I promise.
So we're getting there soon. Yeah. But she is very intriguing, and she is extremely, extremely good. Like, I really like her. She's...
What would you wish for?
What would you wish for?
A wish, I would wish for an orange juice and whiskey.
They do go well, don't they? That's hilarious.
Are you gonna shotgun that?
Oh god. Honestly though, orange juice and whiskey sounds awful.
It depends on the whiskey.
Yeah,
that should be our drink for Rebellion.
Oh my god, yes! Wait, what?
Yes,
hold on. What is the name of that drink?
Orange juice and whiskey.
Listeners, if you have an idea for what to name,
give us
cocktail ideas for Madoka Magica. The first one being orange juice and whiskey. Give us a name for it. Send us your other ideas. We need to get the bar menu ready for Rebellion when we watch it.
Hell yeah!
Send it to our Curious Cat. Tweet it at us on Twitter.
We want recipes.
Yeah,
we will drink your recipes too.
Yep. So,
on it.
That being said,
I'll do it.
I think that closes out this episode.
It does.
We had a lot of fun with this one, and I am very excited to do the next couple ones. The next time we get together.
I know.
Yeah.
I know the next couple are like huge.
Yeah.
Everyone's like losing their minds that we're not there yet.
So if you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, it's at Madoka Magicast, and if you go there on twitter.com, you can find links to everything else we do. Or all of our other sites on Tumblr, SoundCloud, YouTube, The Curious Cat. You can find links to all that stuff on our Twitter profile. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Lambda Power. So Lambda, like the Greek letter, spelled out, and then power. And you can find links there to all the stuff that I do, all my Sailor Shitpost blog, my artwork, visual novels, all that stuff that I like to do. And you guys do Empty Movement.
We sure do.
Yeah.
That is ohtori.nu, and that it's the biggest Utena site on the internet, which is not really
saying much since it's pretty much the only one.
It's the only one.
Oh, we also, I guess this is potentially pertinent since Sarah Zanmai's out. I have a side account on Twitter, Ikuni_more, where I'm just using it to like shit post stupid theories just to make fun of J.K. Rowling. So.
And our main Twitter is ohtori_NU. Should you want to see us shitpost relentlessly about Utena.
That's right.
And that's about
it's
it.
worth it,
yes.
I promise.
It's hard to get through, but you can do it.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, and I hope you join us next time for, let me find the title of the next episode. Can you face your true feelings, I think?
I'm gonna guess no,
Can you
but
face
sure.
your true...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I saw it earlier.
Episode 7, Can you face your true feelings? And we shall see where that episode takes us. Thanks for listening, and I guess we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye!
Bye!
Oh my god, why am I coughing?